Hello my friends and welcome back to another video. Today we are going to talk about some upcoming releases, and these are specifically coming out in the next 3 months, so I'm considering them like fall book releases. So they either come out in September, October, or November, and I am so excited for the next 3 months. I feel like we are getting some really good books. I am hoping that the second half of this year is so much better than the first half because the new releases have not been doing well for me. So I'm really hoping that these fall releases are going to be really fun and exciting, and they're just going to reinvigorate me for the rest of the year. Not gonna spend a lot of time chit-chatting. We're gonna just talk about some new releases and talk about how exciting they sound. So let's get into it. So the first book is We Came to Welcome You by Vincent Torrado. This is a horror book. It's coming out September 3rd, and it says it's the other black girl meets midsummer. It says a married couple moves into a gated community that slowly creeps into a pervasive dread, similar to the social horror of Jordan Peele and Lovecraft County. Sol Reyes has had a rough year after a series of workplace incidents at her university lab culminates in a plagiarism accusation. Sol is put on probation. Dutiful visits to her homophobic father aren't helping her mental health, and she finds her nightly glass of wine becoming more of an all-day and all-bottle event. Sounds like we're going to have a main character that drinks a lot, which is a trope that I know so many people don't enjoy, so be prepared if that's something you absolutely hate. Her wife, Alice Song, is far more optimistic. After all, the two finally managed to buy a house in the beautiful gated community of Mainless Grove. However, the neighbors are a little too friendly in Sol's opinion. She has no interest in the pushy homeowners association, their bizarrely detailed contract, or their never-ending microaggressions. Okay, that's something I do enjoy, is when books have homeowners associations that are crazy. Says there's a number of strange occurrences, doors and stairs disappearing, roots growing inside the house. Oh, interesting. Okay. It's causing Sol to wonder if her social paranoia isn't built on something more sinister. So this could be one of those books where we don't know if our main character is fully trustworthy, if we can't really rely on their account. And then it says Sol finds a journal in the property from a resident that went missing a few years ago. She realizes why they were able to buy the house so easily. Okay, but there's another thing I like: missing people. So that's gonna be fun. I'm excited about that. This one definitely sounds interesting. It has a lot of things that I think I might like. Then we have The Night Guest. This is coming out September 3rd. This is also like a horror thriller kind of vibe. Sounds like our main character is going to quite a few doctors. Says she knows her constant fatigue is a sign that something's not right, but practitioners dismiss her symptoms and blood tests haven't revealed any cause. Ooh, okay. When she talks to friends and family about it, the refrain is the same. Have you tried eating better, exercising more, establishing a nighttime routine? Okay, all of that, I feel like people that have chronic illnesses are gonna read that and be like, oh my god, that's my life. So I feel like that's gonna be very relatable for people. She tries to follow their advice, buying everything from vitamins to sleeping pills to a step counting watch. One night, she falls asleep with the watch on and wakes up to find she's walked over 40,000 steps in the night. 40,000 steps is insane. Oh my god, that's such an insane number. That was not what I expected it to say. Wow, what is happening when she's asleep? This is a translated novel. It first published in Iceland, so I have high hopes for it. It sounds very interesting, and I think a lot of people will like the sound of this one. Then there is Guillotine by Delilah S. Dawson. This is coming out September 10th. This says it's the menu meets Ready or Not. That's a typo. It definitely says Ready of Not in the synopsis, but I'm pretty sure it's Ready or Not, like the movie. But it says it's a dark tale of opulent luxury and shocking violence. Thrift fashionista Des Lane doesn't want to date Patrick Ruskin. She just wants to meet his mother, the editor-in-chief of Nouveau magazine. When he invites her to his family's big Easter reunion at their lake retreat, she's certain she can put up with his arrogance and fend off his advances long enough to ask Marie Caulfield Ruskin for an internship. When they arrive at the enormous mansion on an island in the center of a Georgia lake, Des is floored. She's never witnessed how the 1% lives before in all their ridiculous, unnecessary luxury. But once all the family members are on the island and the fairy has departed, shit gets real. For decades, the Ruskins have made their servants sign contracts that are basically indentured servitude, and with nothing to lose, the servants have decided their only route to freedom is to get rid of the Ruskins for good. That's so funny. These plots are surprising me. You can tell I don't read these before I add them to my want to read. Des and Patrick are on the run, but the more Ruskins she sees die and the more servants who tell their stories, the more Des realizes that she wants nothing to do with Marie and her magazine. In fact, by the end, Des might be the one strangling Marie to death with her trademark chunky pearls. That's actually so funny. That's actually so funny. I really like the sound of this one. So I have high hopes for this one. We have Lucy Undying by Kirsten White, a author that I have read multiple books from, and they really haven't been my favorites. Cover is absolutely stunning, and it says it's a seductive Gothic fantasy. A vampire escapes the thrall of Dracula and embarks on her own search for self-discovery and true love. Lucy Westenra was one of Dracula's first victims, but her death was only the beginning. Lucy rose from the grave a vampire and has spent her immortal life trying to escape from Dracula's clutches and trying to discover who she really is and what she truly wants. Oh, fun! Her undead life takes an unexpected turn when in 21st century London she meets another woman who is also yearning to break free from her past. Iris's family has built a health empire based on a sinister secret, and they'll do anything to stay in power. Why is that giving me pyramid scheme vibes? Lucy has long believed she would never love again, but she finds herself compelled by the charming Iris, while Iris is mesmerized by the confident and glamorous Lucy. But their intense connection and blossoming love is threatened by forces from without. Oh, okay. See, this sounds good. It sounds like it's gonna be a sapphic story as well, so I feel like people who really enjoy A Dowry of Blood by S.T. Gibson, this kind of sounds like it could be a similar vibe. I have a physical copy of this one, and that is The Examiner by Janice Hallett. I just received this in the mail. This one comes out September 10th in the US. I believe it's already out as of now in the UK. Pulled in emails, text messages, and essays. A group of students in an art master's program that goes dangerously awry. The head of Royal Hastings University's new multimedia art course must find 6 students from all walks of life across the UK for her new master's program. Before the university cuts her funding, the students are nothing but trouble from day one. And then there is the examiner, who is the man hired to grade the students' final works. An art installation for a local cloud-based solutions company that may have an ulterior agenda. And then we gotta find out who's in danger or already dead, and that's what you're looking for in this while you're reading through all the little goodies, trying to dig up dirt and figure out who's guilty. I always have a great time with this. I think they're so fun. They give my brain a little break, but they're so entertaining. Sometimes they're a little over the top, but I always find the mysteries to be really enjoyable and really satisfying, and I don't know, they always go in like really good directions that leave me completely jaw on the floor because I never expected it. So very excited for this one. Then we have An Academy for Liars by Alexis Henderson. This is coming out September 17th. Alexis Henderson is a favorite author of mine. This one sounds like it's going to lead more fantasy horror than just straight up horror. Lennon Carter's life is falling apart. Then she gets a mysterious phone call inviting her to take the entrance exam for Drayton College, a school of magic hidden in a secret pocket of Savannah. Lennon has been chosen because, like everyone else at the school, she has the innate gift of persuasion, the ability to wield her will like a weapon, using it to control others, and in rare cases, matter itself. So yeah, definitely sounds very much more fantasy than horror. After passing the test, Lennon begins to learn how to master her devastating and unsettling power. But despite persuasion's heavy toll on her body and mind, she is wholly captivated by her studies, by Drayton's lush moss-draped campus, and by her brilliant classmates. Very dark academia, it sounds like right there. So if you really enjoy those kinds of settings, the academia settings, I think you'll really like this. As Lennon continues in her studies, her control grows and she starts to uncover more about the secret world she has entered into, including the disquieting history of Drayton College and the way her mentor's tragic and violent past intertwines with it. It's really giving fantasy, so I wouldn't go into this one expecting like hardcore horror from the sounds of it. It's giving fantasy. Brahm has a new release called Evil in Me. Brahm is the author of Slewfoot, which is one of my favorite books of all time. I absolutely adore that witchy horror. It is so fantastic. This is coming out the 17th. I don't even know if I read the plot of this, but it says it's a novel of possession, damnation, and rock and roll, where one woman must get the world singing in order to save her soul. That kind of reminds me of Grady Hendrix rock and roll story. I don't know what the plot of that one is. Aspiring musician Ruby Tucker has had enough of her small rural town and dysfunctional family, but a falling out with her best friend and bandmate has killed her dreams of escaping and making it big in the Atlanta punk scene. Okay. While helping her eccentric neighbor organize his religious relics, an ancient ring clamps down on her finger, possessing her with the spirit of a bloodthirsty demon. There's no getting it off unless hundreds of people chant a spell to set Ruby free. Oh, that makes sense. Okay, now I'm understanding this more. And what's worse, the ring is a beacon for evil, drawing an unimaginably wicked mob straight to Ruby, hungry for her flesh. Jeez. Okay, this is accelerated past where I thought it was going. If Ruby can get her band back together, we're getting the band back together. She has a shot at salvation. It's time for her to face the music and put her whole soul into a song, one powerful enough to raise some hell. I'm really excited for this one. I really enjoy Brahm as a storyteller and as an artist. His art is incredible. So next we have a horror YA, a young adult book. This is Ruin Road by Lamar Giles. I think that's how you pronounce that last name. This is coming out September 17th, and it says Cade Webster lives between worlds. He's a standout football star at the right school, but lives in the wrong neighborhood, if you let his classmates tell it. Everywhere but home, people are afraid of him for one reason or another, afraid he's too big, too fast, too ambitious, too black. Then one fateful night, to avoid a dangerous encounter with the police, he ducks into a pawn shop. An impulse purchase and misspoken desire change everything when Cade tells the shopkeeper he wishes people would stop acting so scared around him, and the wish is granted. I kind of like that trope of like, you walk into a shop, you pick up an item, and then bad things happen. It's giving Stephen King, Needful Things, that kind of vibe. It also reminds me of like a Twilight Zone episode, so I really kind of like that trope a lot. At first it feels like things have taken a turn for the better, but it's not just Cade that people no longer fear, it's everything. Oh, that's not good. Fearless acts of violence begin to escalate in both his neighborhood and at school. Something monstrous is clearly at work, and it's up to Cade to stop it. The cover is what really drew me to this book because it really reminds me of like a retro old school horror novel cover, and I love that. But the plot sounds very, very, very interesting. I love trying a good YA horror, so I think this could be an interesting one. Here's another book that the cover really drew me to it. I love the way this looks. I love the glitch effect of this one. This is Such a Lovely Skin. This is coming out September 17th. This is also a horror YA. It's about an evil video game, a lying Twitch streamer, and a demon hungry for her secrets. I really like content creation in the form of like YouTubers or like Twitch streamers, like gamers. I think that's always a fun trope in horror just because I do this kind of thing too, so I like reading books like that. After spending the summer racked with guilt about causing the accident that killed her little sister, geez, okay, ambitious gamer and chronic liar, Viv returns to Twitch streaming. She never told her parents the truth about the accident, but she hopes that maybe making it big in streaming and giving the money to them is penance enough for her mistakes. The weekend before school starts, Viv finds the perfect horror game to make her Twitch comeback, and during an offline practice run, an NPC asks Viv for a secret. Oh no. She decides to tell them the truth about her sister's death since a game could never share her secret. In doing so, she accidentally welcomes a demonic mimic into her life. The only person who believes her is Ash, a cute social outcast whom Viv once bullied. Oh, good, good, good. Yeah. That's a good person if they actually believe you. Honestly, if you bullied them. So plot really surprised me with this one. I think it could be just as good as the cover. So that's a really good sign. Clay McLeod Chapman has a new one coming out, Kill Your Darling. This is coming out September 24th. I've had a very hit or miss time with this author. Some books I've enjoyed, some I really haven't. The body of Glenn Partridge's 15-year-old son was discovered in a vacant lot nearly 40 years ago. The police are still no closer to finding the murderer decades later. Glenn refuses to let the memory of his son fade or let anyone else within this small working class community forget. His wife signs him up for an amateur fiction writing workshop at the library just to get him out of the house. It says rule number 1. I think there's no number 1, but it just says rule number, so I'm assuming they mean rule number 1. Rule number 1, write what you know. So Glenn decides to share his son's story. That his story takes on a life of its own. Someone from the past is compelled to come out of hiding before he reaches the end. Ooh, okay, this one's intrigued me a lot. I'm excited about this. I do love unsolved murders as well. I think that's an interesting trope in books. So I think this one could be a big hit. Wendy Webb also has a new one coming out, The Witches of Santo Stefano. When Cassie Graves discovers her husband's affair, it's enough to chip away at the foundation of her life, but after researching her family's Italian ancestry, it completely crumbles beneath her. Okay, I don't love affair stuff in books. That's not like my big thing. I kind of hate when characters like either have affairs or they like are getting cheated on. It's just not a plot trope I love, but we'll see. Her grandmother, Gia's often told stories about the past are a lie. Her much romanticized great-grandfather Giovanni may not even have existed. Wow, that's a lot to learn. Most alarmingly of it all, it appears her mysterious great-grandmother Violetta died by stregoneria? Oh, witchcraft. Okay. When Cassie comes upon an old spell book, she gets closer to unearthing long-buried family secrets, the truth about a powerful female lineage, and the haunting discovery of who she really is. This sounds like a fun, like, witchy mystery. I enjoy Wendy Webb's mysteries a lot. They usually have a very big modern Gothic feel to them, which I personally enjoy, so this sounds like it could be something that I like. Then we have Don't Eat the Pie by Monique Asher. This is coming out the 24th of September. It says that newlywed Sam has always wanted to be part of a normal, happy family. When her mother-in-law falls ill, Sam dutifully moves her family to Edenic Camellia Island to care for her. It seems perfect until it's not. The house next to her mother-in-law is creepy, and it's where Ben's first wife died. Oh, of course, I love the trope where someone gets married to a man whose wife mysteriously died in like weird circumstances. It gets even worse when Emma starts to see things, knowing that there are ghosts trying to warn her of something, but what? I love when ghosts warn people also. That's like another trope I really enjoy. Emma won't pretend nothing is happening, especially as the messages become more grim and frequent. Sounds kind of like a haunting as well, and people are being suspicious, I guess. That's what I'm getting. Then there is a little fantasy cozy mystery, The Village Library Demon Hunting Society by C.M. Wagoner. This is coming out the 24th of September as well. It says a librarian with a knack for solving murders realizes there's something decidedly supernatural afoot in her little town. I love when books focus on like librarians or authors or writers or like bookstore owners or people that like work with books and writing and stuff like that. I just really enjoy that. Librarian Sherry Pinkwhistle keeps finding bodies and solving murders, but she's concerned by just how many killers she's had to track down in her quaint village. But when someone close to Sherry ends up dead and her cat, Lord Thomas Crowell, becomes possessed by what seems to be an ancient demon, Sherry begins to think she's going to need to become an exorcist as well as an amateur sleuth. Not an exorcist as well. That's so funny. Yeah, that sounds really fun. It says it's a mix of Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Murder, She Wrote. That sounds hilarious. Sounds like a fun little mystery. I would love to give that a read. That sounds so enjoyable. Then we have Devils Kill Devils by Johnny Compton. This is coming out September 24th as well. Sarita has been watched over by a guardian angel her entire life. She calls him Angelo and keeps him a secret, but secrets can't stay buried forever. When Angelo murders someone she loves, oh, whoa, okay, that doesn't, no, I don't think that's a guardian angel. That sounds kind of not like that, maybe? Sarita begins to see what's really been lurking in the shadows surrounding her, and she will have to embrace the evil within if she hopes to make it out alive. Wow, that is a very short and like very vague plot description. I mean, it sounds kind of creepy, so I like the idea of it. I like what I got from that little plot description, so, you know, no harm in trying it. I've seen a lot of people talking about this one as well, and that's Graveyard Shift by M.L. Rio. This is a novella, I believe, as well. It comes out September 24th. This says it's a story about a ragtag group of night shift workers who meet in the local cemetery to unearth the secrets lurking in an open grave. I really like when people work the night shift, like in stories. I always think that makes everything extra creepy. I feel like in horror movies it's like always a bad sign when someone works the night shift because you just never know what's gonna happen during the nighttime. Every night in the college's ancient cemetery, 5 people cross paths as they work the late shift: a bartender, a rideshare driver, a hotel receptionist, the steward of the derelict church that looms over them, and the editor-in-chief of the college paper, always in search of a story. One October evening, okay, perfect to read during Halloween then. One dark October evening in the defunct churchyard, they find a hole that wasn't there before, a fresh open grave where no grave should be, but who dug it and for whom? Before they go their separate ways, the gravedigger returns. As they trail him through the night, they realize he may be the key to a string of strange happenings around town that have made headlines for the last few weeks, and they may be closer to the mystery than they thought. You know, I love when people follow people that are doing bad things because you just know that they're gonna get into trouble and everything's gonna go wrong. So this one sounds like a really short and fun little novella, and I really like the cover, and I don't know, I think it could be a good time. Then we have Where I End by Sophie White. This is releasing in the US September 24th. I just read my arc of this and it is very, very bizarre and creepy and disturbing and weird. This is about the main character who has never left the island that she lives on. Her silent, bedbound mother is the survivor of a private disaster that no one talks about. And then this new woman and her child, her baby, move to the island. The main character gets close to them and, you know, starts spending some time with them, and things get a little wild. The Hitchcock Hotel by Stephanie Roble. This is coming out September 24th as well. This is more of like a thriller mystery, I believe. It says a Hitchcock fanatic with an agenda invites old friends for a weekend stay at his secluded themed hotel. And I love books where people go away for the weekend and it's like a trap. Alfred Smedel is not your average Hitchcock fan. He is the founder, owner, and manager of the Hitchcock Hotel, a sprawling Victorian house in the White Mountains dedicated to the master of suspense. There, Alfred offers his guests round-the-clock film screenings, movie props, and memorabilia in every room, plus an aviary with 50 crows. Okay, that sounds like a great time. I don't know about anybody else, but I would love to go. Sign me up, because I would like to join. To celebrate the hotel's first anniversary, he invites his former best friends from his college film club for a reunion. He hasn't spoken to any of them in 16 years. Okay, that's a long time. Seems suspicious. Not after what happened. Okay, even more suspicious. But who better than them to appreciate Alfred's creation and to help him finish it? After all, no Hitchcock set is complete without a body. Oh, perfect. Sounds like Alfred here is doing something Unhinged. So this is the Crescent Moon Tea Room by Stacy Savinsky. This is another like witchy cozy mystery that has to do with tea, I believe. It says it's a cozy and uplifting debut novel about three clairvoyant sisters who face an unexpected twist of fate at the bottom of their own delicate porcelain cups. These three sisters, it sounds like they own a tea shop, and then this council of witches comes calling with news that the city diviner has lost her powers, and the sisters suddenly find themselves being pulled in different directions. And then it says, it seems a family curse that threatens to separate the sisters is taking effect. With dwindling time to rewrite their future and help three other witches challenge their own destinies, they set out to bargain with fate. So another little cozy witchy mystery. I love a good witchy mystery. I think this one sounds like a lot of fun. This is coming out October 1st. This is another YA like horror fantasy. This is The Dark Becomes Her by Judy I. Lin. This says that it's for fans of Ryan Lasala and Trang Tan Tran, a sinister tale of the supernatural sisterhood and the shadows that rule our darkest desires. Ruby Chen has always played the part of the dutiful eldest daughter, excelling in school, excelling in piano lessons, excelling at keeping her younger sister Tina focused on extracurriculars meant to impress college admissions officers. But when a ghost from the spirit world attacks the sisters in the middle of Vancouver's Chinatown neighborhood, Ruby's life is plunged into a darkness that no amount of duty can free her from. Overnight, Ruby's sister seems to change. There are strange noises coming from her bedroom at all hours, and once sweet, funny Tina has been replaced by something dark and unnatural. Okay, possession, great. We love to see it. Not really, but in books we do. As Ruby races to save her sister from demonic possession, she is thrown into an ancient battle over the gateway to the underworld. Okay. That sounds fun. Says that it's Chinese and Taiwanese mythology get the Junji Ito treatment, which I love Junji Ito, so this definitely sounds like something I would love to try. This is a young adult novel. This is Haunting Melody by Chloe Spencer, coming out October 1st. It looks so cute. The cover looks adorable. It says it's a haunting sapphic young adult novel with themes of mental health and PTSD. The only child of an acclaimed ghost hunter couple, Melody's first sacred hunt should have been a walk in the park. All she needed to do was catch a ghost like she's done all her life, but when an unexpected wraith showed up causing havoc, Melody was left scarred and embarrassed. Oh god. Suffering from depression and PTSD post-hunt, Melody relocates to the sleepy island town of Merkmore, where her parents have been tasked with capturing the ghost responsible for a series of grisly deaths. Determined to prove herself, and despite her parents' protests, Melody sets out to capture the specter on her own. That's kind of cute though. I feel like this is gonna be kind of like a sweet story. When a haunting song lures Melody to an abandoned theater, she encounters a recently deceased musical prodigy by the name of Cyrus. All signs point to Cyrus being the killer, but Melody isn't so sure. That sounds cute. This one just sounds like really adorable, honestly. It sounds like something that would just give you all the feels and would also be kind of cozy and fun. Then we have William by Mason Coyle, I think is how you pronounce this author's name. This is coming out September 10th. It's a haunted house story where the haunting is by AI. Henry is a brilliant engineer who, after untold hours spent in his home lab, has achieved the breakthrough of his career. He's created an artificially intelligent consciousness he calls the half-formed robot William. No one knows about William. Henry's agoraphobia keeps him inside the house, and his fixation on his project keeps him up in the attic, away from everyone, including his pregnant wife. Lily's co-workers show up wanting to meet Henry and see the new house. Henry decides to introduce them to William, and things go from strange to much worse. Soon Henry and Lily discover the security upgrades intended to keep danger out of the house are even better at locking it in. This sounds like fun. I don't know, I'm really drawn to books about AI right now, so this one sounds like it could be interesting. This is another novella. This is coming from Nat Cassidy. This is called Rest Stop. I think the cover is so freaking cool. This is coming out October 15th, and all it says is a young musician finds himself locked inside a gas station bathroom in the middle of the night by an unseen assailant, caught between the horrors on the other side of the door and the horrors rapidly skittering down the walls inside. Yeah, that one freaks me out because I think being locked in a gas station bathroom sounds horrifying. terrifying, actually. That just sounds, one, gross, and also just actually very, very, very creepy. So I have really high hopes for this. Nat Cassidy is really a great author. We have Model Home by Rivers Solomon. This is coming out October 15th. The cover also very, very, very cool for this one. A new kind of haunted house novel. This could be very intriguing because I feel like haunted house stories are very predictable. So if this one kind of does something different and keeps it fresh, could be a good time. Three Maxwell siblings keep their distance from the Lily White gated enclave outside the Dallas where they grew up. When their family moved there, they were the only black family in the neighborhood. The neighbors acted nice enough, but right away bad things, scary things, the strange and the unexplainable began to happen in their house. As adults, the siblings could finally get away from the horrors of home, leaving their parents all alone in the house. But when news of their parents' death arrives, they're forced to return to Texas, all the siblings, and find out what happened and what occurred while they were gone. Yeah, this sounds really, really, really good. I love a haunted house story as well, and I think that'll be perfect for Halloween. Memorials by Richard Kismar. This is coming out October 22nd. I've heard really good things about this one from people that got to read it early. A group of students encounter a supernatural terror while on a road trip through the Appalachia, which I love books that are set in the Appalachia, and I love books that take place while they're on road trips. So 1983, three students from a small college embark on a week-long road trip to film a documentary on roadside memorials for their American Studies class. As they venture deeper into the Appalachian backwoods, the atmosphere begins to darken. They notice more and more of the memorials feature a strange, unsettling symbol hinting at a sinister secret. Paranoia sets in when it appears they are being followed. That's another trope I love, is when they're on like the road and they think they're getting followed. It reminds me of Jeepers Creepers. Their vehicle is tampered with overnight and some of the locals appear to be anything but welcoming. Before long, the students can't help but wonder if these roadside deaths were really random accidents or is something terrifying at work. That one sounds amazing. Perfect for fall, perfect for Halloween, perfect for spooky season. I cannot wait to get my hands on this one. Another Delilah S. Dawson book. This is It Will Only Hurt for a Moment. This is also coming out October 22nd. It's about a young woman who hopes to reinvent herself at an isolated artist colony, only to be drawn into its dark, twisted past. Sarah Carpenter is starting over. She's on the run, leaving behind her unsupportive, narcissistic ex-boyfriend and alcoholic, abusive mother. I do kind of dislike when the main characters are running from their past, usually because it's just very predictable, but we'll see. She's heading for Tranquil Falls, a secluded artist colony on the grounds of a closed hotel. No cell signal or internet to distract her, which is always a bad sign. But when Sarah uncovers the body of a young woman while digging a hole for a pit kiln, things start to fall apart. Yeah, bodies tend to do that. Her fellow artists begin to act in troubling ways. When she discovers glass shards in her clay, Sarah wonders if someone is out to get her or if she's losing her grip on reality out here in the wilds. So it definitely sounds like another character where we're not going to know if what's happening to them is real. This also sounds really good from Delilah S. Dawson, so I will also be checking this one out. Then I have Leave the Girls Behind by Jacqueline Bublitz. This is coming out 10/29, so October 29th. I read this author's book Before You Knew My Name, and it was one of my favorite books of the year. This one says Ruth Ann Baker is a college dropout, a bartender, and an amateur detective who just can't stay away from true crime. 19 years ago, her childhood friend was murdered by suspected serial killer Ethan Oswald. Still tormented by the case, Ruth can't help but think of the long dead Oswald when another young girl goes missing from the same town. And then she uncovers evidence that suggests he wasn't acting alone, so she's determined to find his partner in crime. I love this author. I think her writing is very like literary and very like beautiful, so I think this one will also be like super enjoyable and I can't wait to get to it. Another YA horror. This is Dead Girls Don't Dream. This cover is gorgeous. YA horror has some of the best covers ever. This one says everyone who wanders from the path in Voynich, I don't know how to say that, woods is never seen again. The neighboring town is in decline after the demise of a once thriving logging industry. It's now known for its mysterious folklore and missing posters. Okay, I love I do love a missing people issue in towns. That's always a fun trope. Riley knows better than to stray from the trail in the woods behind her Uncle Toby's house, but her little sister Sam breaks the rules in pursuit of a local legend, so Riley chases after her and discovers a masked, knife-wielding figure and a waiting grave. Wow, okay. Madeline lives deep in the forest, subject to her mother's strict rules. She's forbidden from leaving home or using her magic. Oh, okay, we have magic now. But one night she risks everything to help a stranger who's lost in the woods. When Riley is murdered, oh, it's escalated very high. Okay, in a strange ritual, Madeline uses her magic to resurrect her, and their lives are immediately intertwined in the gnarled history of the woods. This is a very surprising plot. I had no idea what this one was about, but this one sounds crazy. It's coming out November 12th. Then we have Sundown in San Ojuela. This is coming out November 19th. It says when the death of her aunt brings Liz back to San Ojuela, the prospect fills her with dread. The isolated desert town was the site of a harrowing childhood accident that left her clairvoyant, the companion of wraiths and ghosts. Yet it may also hold the secret to making peace with a dark family history and a complicated personal and cultural identity. Okay, this one sounds very cool. I love the cover as well. Don't know what I'm gonna get with it, but it sounds like it could be a good time. Those are some books that I thought sounded really fun for fall and that I think you could add to your TBR if they sound interesting, and you know, keep your eye out for them. They're going to be coming out very soon. September is right here. Were some really interesting new releases that I'm very excited for. I'm sure some of you are also very excited for them. Hopefully you found some new ones that you haven't heard of yet. If you have any other fall releases that you're really excited about, leave them in the comments. I'm sure other people would be super excited to hear them. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. Leave me a comment letting me know that you like watching these. If you haven't already, feel free to subscribe to my channel. I also have a Patreon linked down in the description box. We can become friends, talk about books, horrifying books, thrilling books, romance books, manga, all that good fun stuff. And with that being said, I hope you're having a great day, night, morning, afternoon, wherever you are, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!